Hey YouTube, I'm Lucky, and today I'm bringing you a video that was requested to me by one of my Twitch viewers. Essentially, they asked, can you do a review of your entire vault? Now, when I first heard that, I thought, wow, that is going to be a really tough challenge because there's so much in my vault and there's so much to my personal vault organization. But I really wanted to make this video because at the same time, every time I talk about my vault or how I organize my vault, there's always such smart people that have such new and creative ways of organizing their vault and methods in which they use. So I'm sure the comment section below will have a lot of really good, useful details. And I'm sure those of you out there watching this will definitely learn a few things from the way I organize my vault and what I look for in a powerful weapon, both PvE and PvP. So let's dive right into this. This is going to be kind of a lengthy video. I'll probably break it into two parts. If this video gets a lot of likes and a lot of traction, I'll definitely make an armor section, but I think I'll try and just keep it just strictly to a weapon section for this video. And so this is the entirety of my vault right here, weapon wise. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to type in the search bar here each different weapon archetype, and I'll go over real quickly why I keep the weapon of that archetype. So the first one up I'm going to do is hand cannon. And so as I type in hand cannon, you'll see all the different hand cannons that I keep inside my vault. So there's a purpose for almost every single weapon I keep. Sometimes when the new season starts, I will keep a weapon that's a terrible roll purely for infusion fuel. But other than that, I pretty much try to go through and sort of groom my vault every week and try and clean out all the garbage because, as you can see, it fills up pretty fast. I have 420 out of 500 spaces left in my vault. I have barely any, like 80 spots left. So my Ostringers, I have a bunch of different rolls here. Eye of the Storm is a really popular perk. I'm going to try and test this out, so I'm keeping this one. I wish I had an Eye of the Storm opening shot one to try that one out. This is my best PvP roll, my Snapshot Rangefinder, the one that I'm enjoying the most at least. I have a bunch of Better Devils here. I got Outlaw Kill Clip, Rangefinder opening shot. This is my max range Better Devils. I made a video on that one. I really enjoyed that Better Devils for a bit there. I keep an Outlaw Rampage Ostringer, of course, to replace my Midnight Coup, which is over here. I have an Outlaw Kill Clip one. I keep a Duke that has Rampage on it because it can have some practical implications, but I rarely ever use the thing. I got my Dire Promise from year one because I love my Dire Promise. It still has 1,682 Crucible opponents defeated. I freaking love that gun. I keep this 10 paces because it has quick draw on it. And if I were to pair it with a sniper, it'd be kind of cool to pair a quick draw hand cannon with a sniper. I've never actually used this. It's just been sort of like a thing in my head where I'm like, I'll keep it because it has quick draw, and quick draw is a very rare perk for hand cannons. So that's why I have that. This is the Outlaw Kill Clip Bad News that I got. I made a video on that one. I really like that weapon as well. The Outlaw Demolitionist, great for armaments, so I keep that for PvE purposes. Back to the Dukes. I got this spare Rations. I haven't made a review of this yet, but I will soon. This thing is amazing for PvP. Snapshot Rangefinder. This is like a really good roll. These 150s have a lot less range than the other hand cannons, so Rangefinder is kind of a necessity. This has a great roll though, and I really like this thing in the Crucible. I try to keep one of every archetype. You know, hand cannons, you've got 110s, 140s, 150s. I try to have a plethora of different weapons for PvE and PvP. So that way, depending upon how the meta shifts, how Bungie chooses to change the sandbox for both PvE and for both PvP, I can adjust, I can adapt. You know, like I can use the Midnight Coup, or I can use my Ostringer, or I can use this Duke. They all have Outlaw Rampage, right? All three of them. And they're all three different archetypes. This is a 150, this is a 140, and this is a 110. So I have all three archetypes with the same exact role covered. That's kind of my thought process. And obviously with time things change and perks get buffs and so on and so forth. But and that's when I choose to delete certain weapons. So moving on down here, I have more hand cannons in the energy slot. I've got my Nation of Beasts. I've got, of course, the curated Outlaw Dragonfly. I find myself rarely using that one, but I do have this Outlaw Rampage one, which I really like. Again, sort of covering the same aspects that I talked about with the kinetic slot. Of course, my Not Forgotten. I have a Trust that has Dragonfly and Rapid Hit. I haven't really used that much, but I think that has some PvE application. I've got this Waking Vigil here. This is a terrible roll. That thing's going to have to get dismantled. I keep some weapons every now and again, and I don't clean them out as much as I should. Here's an Outlaw Kill Clip. This would be more of a PvP roll, although still with the 140s, it's not going to 2-tap, so that one could probably get deleted. it was so rare to find it that I really like to keep it. I've got a surrounded spec Rampage Kindled Orchid. This was a really, really powerful weapon. If you put the surrounded mod on it, it's really powerful, so I kept that. The double shield perk one is completely a meme. The two perks don't even synergize well. You think they would, but I kept it. And this is, again, a quick draw hand cannon, which I would pair with a kinetic sniper, thinking that I could, snipe someone to the body and then quickly swap to this with quick draw. So I kept that as sort of the same note as this 10 paces. And over here I have an Outlaw triple tap Viking Vigil, which would be a PvE style roll. I'm not going to go over the exotics, of course. You know why I keep all the exotics. They're all very good and powerful and so on and so forth. On to the next one. I'm trying to push through this pretty fast because I don't want this video to last absolutely forever. So onto my pulse rifles. Of course, I've got a Redrick's broadsword, and then I've got a couple blast furnace. We've got Feeding Frenzy kill clip, which is a PvP roll. We've got Snapshot kill clip, another PvP roll. Sometimes I really get into the handling of weapons, and I really like the snapshot, quick draw style stuff. And so I've been using this one a little bit more. The reload is a little bit painful, but yeah, I really do like the snapshot on the weapon. I got Outlaw Rampage, which is more of a PvE roll. I find myself using this in PvE quite a bit if I do use a kinetic, but in the current meta, grenade launchers are so powerful that I'm pretty much just using Mountaintop in the kinetic slot. But in the future, when that stuff gets tweaked, I'm sure I'll bust this bad boy back out. Shattering Bone with Outlaw Rampage. This is actually like my favorite pulse rifle. Like, this is my dream pulse rifle. Like, sometimes at night when I'm dreaming of Destiny 2, I dream of this weapon. I love this weapon so much. Arrowhead break, light mag, Rampage spec on it. Just it hits different. It's so clean. I love this weapon. I'm so happy that I got this roll with Outlaw Rampage from the raid. Again, I have a Go Figure, which is essentially the same thing as this Blast Furnace, but just sort of like a less effective roll. Outlaw Rampage, Outlaw Kill Clip for PvP, PvE. I kept this Einstein. I don't really know why. I probably would potentially use it in PvP. It's a PvP roll, but I've actually never tried it out. Sometimes I just keep weapons because they're pretty good rolls, Like, you never know when the meta is going to shift, the meta is going to change, Bungie's going to buff this, that, or the other thing. And so I see a weapon has a good roll or good potential, good synergy between the perks. I keep it anyways for potential down the line. It doesn't hold that much space to have one weapon, right? I think that's kind of the hoarder mentality, and that's probably why my vault is filled with so much junk here. But Last Perdition with Snapshot Rangefinder, definitely a good PvP roll. This Claws of the Wolf, this is feels bad. I wanted so badly to get the Outlaw Rampage roll when I turned in those Iron Banner tokens. I never got it. I got Snapshot Rampage. Feels really bad. I've got Outlaw Full Auto. I never got the roll I wanted. I keep these just as a reminder of that pain. I cry about it every night into my anime pillow. I got a Last Perdition with Outlaw Rampage, which is pretty cool because this is essentially the same thing as I'm looking over here. It's just a different archetype. So at least I have my Last Perdition with Outlaw Rampage to make up for the sad Claws of the Wolf that I never got. I do have an Outlaw Kill Clip roll, which would be a PvP style roll, but not the Outlaw Rampage one that I was looking for. I've got an Outlast here. I've never used it. PvP roll. I got a Horror's Least. I did that strike one time, and a Horror's Least actually dropped for me, and everyone was really salty because the drop rate's really low. This roll is absolutely terrible. I kept it anyways because it was so rare. Got a Swift Ride here with Outlaw and Kill Clip, another PvP roll. So those are all the pulse rifles. Now I'm going to go on next to the sniper rifles. Again, I'm trying to keep it kind of abbreviated. If you do have any questions or if I skipped over completely something that you're incredibly interested in, please say so because I will try and respond to the comments, or at least maybe perhaps tweet at me or write it in the Twitch chat because I do try to read the Twitch chat every day. So going on the sniper rifles, of course, we've got the Pinnacle weapon, the Revoker, and then we've got some Kinetic Snipers. Opening Shot and Snapshot is a god roll for PvP. Opening Shot, moving target. Sometimes I can't decide which one I want to keep. For example, I got two Opening Shot, Snapshot ones there, and I should probably dismantle one of those. Snapshot Kill Clip is a really, really nice roll, again, for PvP. And Snapshot Rapid Hit as well, really nice. This Alone as a God could definitely get deleted now that there's much better Kinetic Snipers of the same archetype. Snapshot Moving Target for the Show of Force. Moving on to the Energy Weapon Snipers. Oh, my baby, my beloved, my Snapshot Quick Draw beloved. Mwah! I love you so much. You're so beautiful. I use this every time I play Crucible. Whenever I want to snipe, this is the gun I go to. I love it. My Soul Survivor, I got a Snapshot Slide Shot on this thing. I haven't really used that yet. I've got my Snapshot Rampage Tatara Gaze. If you guys know me, I use this a ton with the last word for a while there. My Twilight Oath, this thing is stupid OP. When the Lord of Wolves gets nerfed, everyone's going to be complaining about this thing because this thing is just dumb OP. It's a freaking scout rifle. Everyone's known it for a while, but the Lord of Wolves is dwarfing. It's ridiculous how ridiculously overpowered it is. But don't you worry, when Lord of Wolves gets nerfed, everyone's going to be using this, and it's going to be just as disastrous in my opinion, but we'll see. Quick Draw, Mulligan, Beloved. If you watched my Beloved video, you know why I keep all of those. What the heck are we doing there? Let's put that back there. And then I got this Soul Survivor here. I just kept all the Soul Survivors because they have some really cool perks on them. Like this one's got Force times the charm. So I just kind of kept them because I wanted to try out the perks in a private match at some point. This Persuader is an absolute trash roll. I don't know why I have that. Also not a good roll. That's a Snapshot Outlaw. That's a good Persuader roll. I don't like the Persuader though. I think that the Twilight Oath is much better for PvP. Again, a bunch of Soul Survivors. I just kept them because they have, you know, those newer perks that I haven't really tested out yet. And I find it fun to test that out. I have the old Trials Sniper there. I have this Elegy, which I used for a little while. I don't know why. It's a complete meme. I definitely should just delete that. A Long Goodbye, which I hate the scope on this thing. I should delete that as well. A Snapshot Dragonfly, Fate Cries Foul. Dragonfly is meant to give a better hitbox. So I kept this for that reason. But overall, I would choose the Beloved now over this 10 times out of 10, so could probably delete that now with the recent updates. Next up is going to be shotguns. All right, we're going to start off with the kinetic slot. We're going to go over threat level. We got a trench barrel and threat detector. Threat level, the trench barrel was the meta for a long time. Now the grenade launchers have taken over, but I still like to keep the trench barrel weapons because who knows what's going to happen with the future tweaks to the game. We got a few different rolls. This is the Imperial Decree that I made for PvP. Made a video on that one. Full auto trench barrel is probably one of the best rolls for PvE. If you're going to use this in PvE, so I would definitely try that out again and maybe test out some of the DPS that thing can do. Just keep a few of these threat levels. When they just keep dropping like candy, I just keep them because what I like to do, and this is a really important note to pay attention to, is I like to have multiple of the same weapon. And for some, I'll put on boss spec. For some, I'll put on major spec. And for some, I'll put on taken spec. That kind of depending upon the activity. And so I kept multiple threat levels for that reason. Like this one has major spec, and this one has taken spec, and one of them has boss spec right here. So I kept a bunch of different ones for that reason, so I could put the different mods in them. Otherwise, I have to delete those mods or waste the mods and replace the spot. So I keep multiple so I can put different mods in them. This is a Slide Shot, Snapshot, Toil and Trouble. That thing is awesome. Hits really hard. Dust Rock Blues with Slide Shot, Snapshot. Just a bunch of God Roll PvP weapons. This is my best parcel of Stardust roll. It's not a very good roll, but it's my best one that I got. It's the best one that I've gotten so far. This is a threat level Surrounded, and I have one as well that has Surrounded spec on it, and I keep that for just potential. It might potentially in the future, the Surrounded spec could come back and be really, really powerful. We'll see what happens in the future with the overall sandbox tuning to the PvE meta. I got this Emperor's Courtesy. This is the Curated Shotgun. This thing is amazing. I actually used this in Crucible, and I got a 1-2 punch, one-hit kill on a Spectral Blades, just mono-a-mono. Shot him, hit every single pellet, punched him, killed him. It was awesome. I clipped it, put it on Twitter. Hopefully you watch that clip. This weapon's great, and has this weapon and Emperor's Courtesy and this Last Man Standing both have 1-2 punch on it. My only 1-2 punch shotguns, and that perk is really, really powerful, especially when paired with Arc Strider, and perhaps a few other combinations. But in the future, that might be the meta, so I'm keeping those weapons, sort of letting them sit in the vault for now, collect some dust, and we'll see what happens in the future. This Wishbringer is makes me a sad boy because I never got that God roll, but that roll is terrible. I should dismantle that. It probably is just infusion fuel. That's why it's there. Gnora's Axe, I just saved all the rolls that I got from turning in those packages to Iron Banner. I never got the God rolled Retold Tale that I want. I want the Quick Draw Snapshot one. Every time I see someone with it, I cry another tear. I never got that roll, so I keep this roll as a painful reminder of my failure to ever get that. My bad RNG with the Retold Tales. Slide Shot, Snapshot, Badlander. I used to use Badlander for a long time because it was super OP. This is my Mindbender's Ambition. This is my baby. This bad boy has buried a lot of Guardians. Quick draw, snapshot, so good. So good. Quick draw, snapshot on good bone structure. I love quick draw and snapshot combinations for pretty much every weapon. When a weapon has amazing handling, you just feel so fast and so agile, and you feel like you can pull off clips. I love it. I keep this motion to vacate because it actually has slide shot and opening shot, which stack together and are really nice, actually really powerful combination. Slide shot, snapshot, Wishbringer, and opening shot. Oh, this is the curated Mindbenders. So that's pretty much everything. There's the Icarus Shotgun. Obviously the exotic shotguns there. So that's everything for the shotgun section. I'll go on to the next one now. Go on to the scout rifles. Okay, now scout rifles currently have almost no place in the PvE world and in the PvP world, which is kind of sad, but I do keep the God Rolled scout rifles, like I said before, just in case things change, because you never know with Bungie, right? They like to let things sit and simmer and you think these weapons are so bad, and then boom, they totally flip the script on you and buff the crap out of certain weapons and nerf the crap out of other weapons, and then all of a sudden it's a scout rifle meta and everyone's running around with scouts. I got an Outlaw triple tap here, PvE roll. This weapon isn't necessarily that good, this Night's Watch. I just got it and I wanted to test out some of the new perks with it. You know, when I get some new weapons and I haven't actually physically tested the perk in PvE and PvP, I like to keep them and let them sit. So I got those there. This is the Rampage kill clip transfiguration. If scouts do get a buff, this thing is going to be freaking nasty, dude. Oh my god. Of course, Jade Rabbit Mida. And then I've got this Outlaw Rampage, Talons of the Eagle, you know, back to the sort of hand cannon ideology of the Outlaw Rampage stuff. Maybe this will be good in the future. We'll see. I'd put a Rampage spec on it if it was. This thing can definitely just get thrown in the garbage. Does not compute. Again, another PvE roll. Cut and run, we got Outlaw Rampage, same gist. Full auto Rampage on this one. Opening shot, triple tap. Some box breathing, no feelings, which is a really unique perk. Probably its only practicality is in PvP for increasing the time to kill, but it's still kind of a cool perk, so I keep it because it's so rare. Another Outlaw Rampage, cut and run. And that's going to do it for the scout rifle portion. Now we're going to go on to grenade launchers. All right, so starting off, we have a bunch of mountaintops, as you'll see. The same sort of concept that I use with the shotguns. The threat level shotgun is what I use with the mountaintop. I have a boss spec one, and I'll have a, let's see what's over here. I'll have a major spec one as well, so I got a boss spec and major spec. And if I were to go up against taken enemies, I would just put a taken spec on one of them. So that's why I have 4 of them. So that I can do that. I can put on different mods. This one has targeting adjuster. This is probably for PvP purposes, maybe. I'm not sure why I have that on there. Then I've got my Malicious Birthright. I've only gotten a few rolls of these. I didn't actually farm it much, so I just kept the rolls that I got. They're neither one are a god roll from what I understand, so I just keep them for now until I eventually go and farm that strike again and get some better rolls. So Aura Wings Maul. I just got a bunch of these from Iron Banner. I haven't tested these out. I'm going to go through and make some videos on these and see which perks I like the most. Talk to, you know, the boy Epic Defender, see what he thinks is some of the best rolls for that. Down to grenade launchers. I just found this Edge Transit, and this thing blew my mind. This is the exact perfect roll that I'm looking for of the Swarm of the Raven. It has spike grenades, field prep, and rampage. Like, what? That's exactly what I wanted. Spike grenades, snapshot, quick draw. That's not what I wanted. I wanted field prep and rampage on this Swarm of the Raven. Obviously, this is a 150 RPM, and this is a 120, so this one fires faster. So it's probably the reason why people are more desire more the Swarm of the Raven. But because this is a better roll, this Edge Transit might actually be better than Swarm of the Raven. And I also think it would be so hilarious and such a good meme to just kill Galliard with Edge Transit because it's such a meme weapon. I have a Spike Grenade, Outrageous Fortune as well. I have a play of the game here. This is a PvP roll. When I have a PvP roll grenade launcher, I'm looking for proximity and quick draw and blast radius. And that's kind of the best roll that I found out of play of the game. I have another Spike Grenade, Swarm of the Raven, so I kept that. And then I have a Doomsday, which has this full court perk, which I kind of wanted to test out because it seems like a kind of goofy perk. So on to the next archetype. We're going to go to submachine guns. All right. I have this Pillager that has Outlaw kill clip. I don't really keep a ton of submachine guns lately. As you can see, it's pretty dry here because the Recluse is just so good. It's really hard to compare anything to it. I kept this Pillager because it has Outlaw kill clip and it's kind of a cool combo, but it's probably not that great, to be completely honest. I've got my Recluse, and again, I have multiple Recluse because I have minor spec. I have minor spec on 2 of them for some reason, but I was going to put a different spec on it. The Icarus Grip is for PvP, and I was going to put a different spec on it depending upon what I was going to use it for. This Callous mini tool is a really dope one. It's surrounded and surrounded spec, and it actually is potentially better than the Recluse. Depends on the situation, depends on how many ads are around you, but I think this is a really good weapon. I think it's very overlooked, this Callous mini tool, and it can definitely be a good replacement to the Recluse. Also depends, it's solar, so it's cool if you need to use a solar weapon, or if it's solar singe for whatever reason. I would say that probably the Callous mini tool with surrounded and a surrounded spec mod on it might even be better than the Recluse, but teach their own. Let me know what you think of that. I just got some of these bug out bags and I wanted to try it out. Got a multi kill clip one, got a swashbuckler one. Haven't tested out yet. I keep this Icarus SMG from the days of old. All right, next archetype of weapon we got bows. Bows are very interesting. So I kept this kinetic bow because it was my only kinetic bow and I was trying to get Hush. And so I still have it for some reason. I don't know why. It's a terrible roll. I should probably delete it. The next one I'm going to go over is Hush, of course. Great bow. Pinnacle bow. I usually keep bows if they have Rampage, Archer's Tempo. I don't keep them if they have anything else. I got really lucky to get the Raid bow to get Archer's Tempo, Rampage to roll for me. Of course, I keep the exotic bows. And this is the curated version, Archer's Tempo, Rampage. I don't really have any bows other than Archer's Tempo and Rampage. I think this one I kept just the snapshot one just as to try it out. But pretty much Archer's Tempo and Rampage is like the best combination. Maybe you know some other bow combinations that are awesome, but for me, as far as I know, that's what I was told, and that's what I've used so far. I'm not much of a bow expert. I do really like the Hush, though. Next up is going to be auto rifles. Again, another archetype of weapon that's really not that popular. I have a few Galron's right hand. I'm still collecting these. I would like to get a better one. So I've kept every one I've got so far because I'm thoroughly testing them, playing with them regularly in PvP and PvE. This one has multi-kill clip, which is kind of cool. Try that out. Of course, we've got the Pinnacle Breakneck, such a great weapon. Horror Story, the curated version, which is really not that great of a weapon at all. Kind of a sad event, if I can be honest. Age-Old Bond with curated, so it's got 4th times char and Rampage. And Gnawing Hunger. I just kept this weapon because I think I only have one, but it's definitely not a good roll. And we got the Galliard, which has Outlaw kill clip, which would be a PvP roll, but unfortunately auto rifles are pretty terrible in PvP, so I don't think I will be using that in PvP anytime soon, unless we have some sandbox changes, which is why I'm holding on to that. Because if we did, Outlaw kill clip would actually be kind of cool. I mean, if auto rifles had a better time to kill clip would definitely melt people, so I'm saving it for that, just in case. Next up is going to be Sidearms. I have a few of these Lonesome saved up because they got Swashbuckler on them, and I wanted to try out that perk. A Smuggler's Word with Outlaw Rampage, which is kind of like similar to the hand cannon style. If you can get one with good range, it could essentially be just a shorter range hand cannon. This one has Outlaw kill clip, and I keep one Vegetan Dynasty just in case. You never know. Pretty much Outlaw Rampage only for the Sidearms is the only roll that I've ever kept, but I mean, I almost never use the Sidearms. So until I find a perk or a combination or a synergy within perks that I really like, I'm not going to use Sidearms, and that's why I don't keep very many in my vault. Next up is going to be Fusion Rifles. Here we go. All right, Fusion Rifles. Here we go. So the Epicurean is a Menagerie Fusion Rifle you've got here. I'm currently collecting as many as I can to try out all the different perks, try out the different combinations. I've got this Wizened Rebuke, which is so good, by the way. If you have a backup plan, Wizened Rebuke, that thing is nasty. Really, really strong fusion. I have this Techian Force. I don't know why. I did not a very good roll. This Techian Force has Kill Clip and Rampage, which is a very unique perk combination for a fusion, so that's why I kept it. The Curated Tempered Dynamo I kept, and the main ingredient, and this Arantel is also really, really powerful, and I really enjoy that fusion rifle. I keep a few of these Techians just because I don't really use them. I actually don't think I've ever used the Techian in the Crucible, but I do remember the days of old when main ingredient was insanely good. As for linear fusion rifles, they're terrible currently in everything, so I just keep a couple of them, but this one has a snapshot box breathing, which could be potentially really good if it had a buff. Like box breathing would be pretty OP with a linear fusion. If the charge time was exactly right, that it procced box breathing every single shot, that could be really crazy. So that's why I kept that, because I wanted to kind of test that out and see if that's actually the way it worked. But for now, I don't use the thing, and even if it did proc it, I don't think it would be that good. So next up is going to be rocket launchers. Rocket launchers used to be super nasty. I just got this one from the Iron Banner. For example, this Sleepless was really good. It had impact casing and field prep and cluster bombs, and that's how we used to melt Riven in the days of old. We would shoot rockets in her mouth, but now she's gets destroyed by grenade launchers. So I don't really use those anymore. I just have the 3 Riven rockets, and I have one that had Taken Boss Spec and one had, I think, Taken Spec. This one right here had Taken Spec. So I kept those because they're such good rolls, and who knows what's going to happen with rockets in the future. Next archetype is going to be machine gun. And hopefully I'm not missing any archetypes. I tried to be pretty thorough about it and cover every different archetype, but I might have missed a few. So if I did, definitely comment down below letting me know how much of a doofus I am. I've got Delirium here. Probably the best machine gun in a lot of ways for PvE purposes. So good. I don't know that any of these other ones are going to be able to hold a candle to Delirium. But it's a pinnacle weapon, so it should be that way, I guess. This Bane of Sorrow is really good. This is the curated with Outlaw Dragonfly, which is nasty for ad clear. I really want to put a Dragonfly spec on this and get some gameplay with it in PvE. This is a really good roll for PvP with Tap the Trigger and Mulligan. Thunderlord, of course. We've got Feeding Frenzy Kill Clip for PvP. I keep a few hammerheads around because I do really like that weapon. I find it to be powerful. I kept a few avalanches from that event long ago. And actually, really fun fact, I was going to make a whole video about this, but now is probably as good a time as any. The weirdest thing that has ever happened to me with this avalanche. Look at this thing. Every weapon in Destiny has its own unique role, right? Every weapon in the entire world has a unique role, and it's almost impossible that you would ever get that the odds that the stars would line up and that the odds that you would get the exact same role of a weapon. But it happened with this avalanche. It has Rampage, Feeding Frenzy, Extended Mag, Ally Mag, Rampage, Feeding Frenzy, Extended Mag, Ally Mag. Now I'll go back to the other one. SRO 41 Ocular, SPO 57. SRO 41 Ocular, SPO 57. And it has Tier 1 weapon for handling masterwork. It has Tier 1 weapon for handling masterwork. What the heck? I got 2 of the exact same weapon. I don't know how that's possible. I got 2 of the exact same weapon. Even the sights, even the masterwork, all the random perks, everything. This has got to be like hitting the fucking lottery here. But so I kept it for that purpose, basically for the purpose of meme, because other than that, Avalanche really isn't that good. But I had to keep it for that because that's just, you don't see that every day. You just don't see that every day. All right, now we go to Linear Fusion Rifle, and I only have the 2 exotic ones and then this 1 Crooked Fang. And of course, there's a bunch in collections, so I'm not too stressed by it. And then the Arbalist. If I ever really need one, I'll just pull one out of collections. And last but definitely, probably least actually, is swords. I don't really care much for swords at all. I think I have 1 sword that has Whirlwind Blade. Yeah, I've got like a Whirlwind Blade sword, using it in the raid. But other than that, I don't really use swords. Other than the new Menagerie swords, which are about to come out, or at least supposedly about to come out in the Heroic. Those I will probably be using because those will actually be really powerful and really fun. But that's it. That's everything. Wow, what a long video. That is the entirety of my vault weapon-wise. Let me know what you think of this video. I know it's extremely long, but I tried to be thorough so that way everyone could dive into my mind and how I organize my vault in terms of weaponry. And make sure to smash the like button if you watched all of this. Make sure to subscribe for more. And again, comment down below what you think of this video and what you think of my weapons and the roles I use. And if you have any sort of methods for organizing your vault better, let me know. I love to, improve on the ways I do things and the way I manage my loot in this game. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great night, and I'll see you in the next video.